What was the other part of the question?
What should a guy know about you if he wants to take you on a date?
He should know that I never lower my standards.
Oh, when you say that, elaborate. What do you mean?
As in, I have certain standards that I've set for myself, and I don't think I'm ever willing to compromise them because I just don't believe in compromise like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it standards that you set for yourself or standards you set for the person you want to choose?
I think a bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both. I've set standards for myself and standards for the person that wants to be part of my life.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hear that. Interesting.
Yeah.
And is there any standards that you apply to the person that you don't apply to yourself and vice versa?
No, I think it's equal. I think it's fair for it to be equal because I'm not, there's nothing that I'm going to ask somebody to do that I'm not willing to do myself.
Okay, so you're like a 50-50 kind of gal?
In terms of, I guess, principles and approach to life, then yeah, I think so.
No, let's say, for example, like let's say you go on a date, like first date, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't expect him to pay for you because you wouldn't expect yourself to pay for him. Or is that a standard you have for him that you don't have for yourself?
Oh. I mean, I would go on a date hoping for the guy, if the guy asks me on a date, I would hope that he would take the lead and, lead the date, which means that he's going to pay for the date because he's asked me to go out on the date. Okay. But if he chooses that he doesn't want to do that, then I guess I would have to pay for myself, but I don't think I would take the relationship further.
Why is that?
Only because to me, it just lets me know that there's a lack of leadership there that I require from a guy.
Ah.
Yeah.
So would you expect to lead yourself at all? So
yeah, at times, yeah.
Would you ask a guy out and then you kind of take him out in that sense?
I wouldn't necessarily ask him out, but I would make it known that I am interested in him and he should perhaps let me know if he's into me as well.
Okay,
but
so you provide that avenue for him to pursue.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so that's a standard you apply to your partner that you don't apply to yourself. It's not wrong, but it's not the same standard.
You don't think so?
If you're saying that you would not take a relationship further because a man wouldn't pay for you, and you wouldn't pay for a man, that's a standard you have for him that you don't have for yourself.
I mean, in a way, but I still think that it's a standard that both of us, I mean, I would pay for the date. If I was to ask him out, I would pay for the date. But I'm not going to ask the guy out on a date because I just don't think that women should ask men out on dates. I just don't think that, and I don't believe in that.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to acknowledge that you do have different standards for yourself than you do for the man you want to choose. They're not equal.
I feel like they are equal. It's just that I'm
What after we just said?
I would do it, but I'm just not going to do it. So
But you would expect him to do it.
Yeah, I would.
But you wouldn't expect that of yourself.
No, the thing is I would do it if I was in a really bad situation. I would. But I'm just choosing not to do it.
No, that's fine. But
the standard's still there. It's just sometimes I'm just willing not to execute it.
No, the standard isn't there because you said that you would expect him to do it, but you don't expect that of yourself. And that's okay, but that is different standards.
I mean, I think we should agree to disagree because I don't really agree with what you're saying. I feel like I'm saying that we both have the same standard. I'm just choosing not to execute it. At times.
Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong. I fully believe that men and women, we look for different things. And I would actually agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be honest and be like, okay, there are standards that we would apply to the person we want to choose that maybe we don't apply to ourselves. And that's okay, but let's be honest about it.
Do you feel like I'm not being honest about this, like what I'm saying right now?
Well, I think I asked about one thing and you were like, you would expect this of him.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't expect that of yourself. And if you don't see how that's a different standard, then I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how you couldn't see that's a different standard. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that standard.
Yeah, I know. I just don't see it. I don't see it as a different standard. I think the standards are the same. It's just I'm just choosing not to execute. I'm just choosing not to execute that.
If there was a male version of you,
who
did exactly what you did, he wouldn't meet your standards.
You think so?
Well, because if he was like, well, I can choose to ask someone out, but I'm not going to do that.
I would respect it.
I know.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't choose that man, would you?
Would I not choose that man? I think I would try to find a way to convince him to execute it.
I get that. Inspire him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the feminine does. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would inspire him to execute what he needs to execute as a man.
I get that.
Yeah, that'll be a bit of a challenge, but I think it's a challenge I'll take on.
Have you ever done that before? Try to inspire a man to do something you want him to do?
At times.
Okay.
It's from a place of love.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I think, like I said, I think that the feminine does inspire the masculine to move, you know, a lot of the time. Have you ever asked out a guy before?
No, I've never. And I don't think I'll ever do that. I'm just being honest. I don't think
always be honest, 100%.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would ever do that. I think I would rather eat glass than do that.
Wow. Is it that difficult for you?
It's not difficult. I think it's something that's easy to do, but I just choose not to do it.
But we say eat glass. That sounds pretty. That's pretty extreme.
Yeah, as in like I just won't do it. It's like no.
So, question: hypothetical situation. You've met a guy and he is everything you're looking for on paper.
Yeah.
Right. He is your dream man.
Okay.
All you have to do to start that is you ask him, "Hey, are you free this Saturday? I'd love to get to know you over a drink."
No, I wouldn't do that.
Not for your dream man?
No, I would walk past him, maybe smile, wave, maybe walk past him more than 3 times so he notices, you know, he takes notice and then he can ask me out. That's what I would rather do.
I hear that. I hear that.
I just won't make the first. I just don't believe in that. I just don't know. I just feel like in those type of scenarios, a man kind of needs to take the lead. I don't know. Maybe that's just for me. That's what I prefer.
Oh, I think most women prefer that.
Yeah.
But it's because you said it was so easy. I was like, okay, so would you do it for your dream man? And you were like, nope.
I think it is easy. I'm not scared of like rejection or anything. I think it's easy, but I'm just choosing not to because that's just how I've decided to just play the game of life.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Have you always approached dating in this way?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you find yourself attracting that masculine service into your life?
Yes, I do actually, quite easily.
See, ladies, told you.
Yeah.
The feminine inspires the masculine.
Yeah, I do quite easily. But yeah, I just won't take that lead when it comes to asking a guy out for the first time. Maybe once we've been in a relationship and we've been dating for a while, then maybe perhaps on a Sunday when I'm feeling quite nice, I'll say, do you want to go grab a bite? But yeah, no, I'm not doing it first.
Oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with making an offer.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what partners do in a relationship.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean in the beginning, because the beginning is about establishing the dynamic that you want to have.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, if you want that dynamic where the man is in the leadership position and you are the woman, I guess, following his leadership, so to speak, I guess that's one of those things.
I wouldn't use the word follow. I would say working in partnership with the leadership.
What do you mean?
As in, I think that in a relationship, it's not always the man that's leading. Sometimes,
I agree.
Yeah, sometimes the female needs to take the lead. I think there needs to be a balance. So I would say wanting a guy to ask me out on a first date shows me that you have that in you to begin with, and that's not something I need to worry about. But it doesn't mean that once we're in a relationship that you're going to be leading the entire relationship. I feel like there are times that I might need to take the lead with your support. And at times you're taking the lead and you have my support.
Can you give me an example where you would take the lead?
It depends on what I'm good at and what the guy is not good at. I feel like that's where you take your leadership in. Yeah. So you might be dating a guy and you have strengths in one area that he might not have. So you take leadership in that area and vice versa.
I agree. Yeah. I think that's even like imagine if you have a platoon and you have a captain.
Yeah.
If they're scouting for the enemy, there's usually somebody on the team who's a scout.
Yeah.
So he's going to be like, hey, scout, lead us because this is your area of expertise.
Exactly.
Though he's still the captain.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That you might take leadership, but you still see him as the captain of your relationship? She didn't like that.
Yeah, no. I think that, I don't really believe in having a captain over my life. I think that women and men are equal but different.
I don't think over your life. I wouldn't say that.
Well, it's the way that you said it.
I was talking within a relationship.
Okay, in what sense?
Well, ultimately, somebody has to make the final call. Okay. So, when you have two companies who merge together,
yeah.
Have you ever wondered why one company, when they merge, one company always owns 51% and the other company 59%? It's never 50-50. And there's a reason for that.
Okay, what's the reason?
Because if you come to a crossroads, somebody has to make the final call. And it's not that you don't work together, but ultimately somebody does.
Does it have to be the same person all the time? Can the roles change at different times? That's what I think. I feel like that can be a situation at times. I understand what you're saying. Depending on the situation that you're dealing with.
Well, I think it's different if you go, okay, because this is where your strength is, we're going to take your guidance, right? Mm. That's different than going, you are now the captain.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this is your area. You're going to take.
We agree. I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, yeah. But I don't believe in one person having that specific role in the entire relationship.
What role?
The role of being the captain all the time, 24/7, regardless of whether he might have. So regardless of whether I have more experience in an area, I don't believe in the guy still making the final decision.
I think
in that situation.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm separating between being the captain and then leading.
Okay.
You can be the captain, but then you don't lead in a certain area.
Okay.
Which I think is what we both agree.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we agree on that.
But the reason I'm saying that is because you described that the kind of man you would like to choose is a man of leadership.
Yeah. And
he can only lead if somebody is willing to follow, and vice versa.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree with that. But why? Can you explain that a little bit further for me before I say what I want to say?
What do you want me to explain?
Just now, I'm not disagreeing with a female leading, not a female following the guy if he's leading the relationship. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is it okay for a guy to follow a female when she's leading at times in the relationship?
Of course, it's even okay to have a relationship where the woman is the captain. But most women don't want that relationship.
Why do you think that? I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why do you say that?
Because most women describe they want to choose a man who has strong leadership qualities.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how can you can't say, you say, I want to choose someone who's a leader, but he's going to follow my lead. That doesn't make sense.
So you think most women do that? They want a guy who has all the qualities, but they still want to be the person that's in charge all the time?
I didn't say most women do that. I said that I think most women prefer to choose a man who can play the leadership position in their relationship. A man that they can look up to, a guy that inspires them to grow in certain areas. You know, generally speaking, women tend to prefer a guy who's older, who's more experienced, who is making more money, who, you know, ideally is at least her level or above. Yeah. Right. So do you know what I mean if I say hypergamy? Do you know what that word means?
No, explain that to me.
So hypergamy is essentially mating across and up. Okay. Which is generally what women would prefer to do. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you own your own house, you want to choose a guy who also owns his own house, maybe too.
Okay.
If you drive, you want a guy who also drives. If you make 50K, you want a guy, right? So women tend to prefer to choose across and up. Mm-hmm. And part of that is because they value or find very attractive those qualities that would make him a good person to lead the relationship. Someone that she can rely on in that sense. Mm-hmm. Very rarely do women go down. Or if they do, I think few women can do that. Like I said, like there's nothing wrong if a woman's the captain of her relationship.
I think sometimes females do want to date somebody who doesn't have those qualities in a man because I do agree with that, to be fair. There are some females that do that.
Yeah. Why do you think they do that?
I think it's because maybe that's just how they've just been programmed to be their entire life. They just don't know how to take the back seat. They've probably had to always be in the driving seat all their life. So having somebody who just sits there and supports them and their goals, that works best, instead of having somebody that you're going to be constantly fighting with because you're fighting for that position.
Yeah, very true.
It's like, okay, those type of women think like men.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So they can't be with a manly man. Well, let me not use that word. I think that's not politically correct.
That's all right.
But,
like a masculine man?
Yeah.
I got you. I got you.
So they don't want to be with that type of man, because that's just going to create so much drama and tension in the relationship. It's going to take away from the focus of whatever your mission and goal is in life. You know?
Should be looking for a man who plays a man who maybe sits more in his feminine.
Yes, I guess they like that because it works for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you think of women maybe who do look for that kind of guy?
Yeah.
How much do you think it's because they don't trust men? They don't trust a man to lead a relationship. They don't feel they can rely on a man to do it. She's just like, I'm going to have to do it myself. Yeah,
I think there's a big part to play with that as well. I think it's a trust issue as well.
Yeah.
Situation where you just feel like, no, I don't think that this person's going to do what they need to do to get us where we need to get to. I think that's built up though over time, like in your life.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with like your childhood, I think.
Can be, you know, the father figure, your experience. Yeah.
Sometimes it might not even be the father figure. It might be just a situation where all the men in your life you've dated have not stepped up. So you've just made it a truth in your mind that this is how all men are. Yeah.
Very much so. Have you ever felt like that yourself, where you feel like you can't trust a man to lead or to play that position in your life?
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.